Hello Transmanians, and welcome once again to another journey video. In this video, I took the Toronto Transit Commission, Line 2 and Line 1 to Union Station, where I caught a shuttle bus from Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport. From there, I rode on Porter Airlines flight PD2211 to Ottawa Macdonald-Cartier International Airport on a de Havilland Dash 8400. And lastly, I rode on the OC Transpo O Train, riding the brand new Line 4 Airport Link and new and refurbished Line 2 Trillium Line on the Stadler Flirt train, ending my trip in downtown Ottawa at Parliament Hill. What do I think of Line 2 and Line 4? How was the new Stadler Flirt train? And how long did it took to get from the airport to downtown? Is it a good successor of the old 97 bus route? Check out more in this video. We are at Broadview Avenue at Danforth Avenue near the Broadview subway station on Line 2 Bloor-Danforth. Last year, I took a Via Rail trip from Toronto to Ottawa, but of course, in this video, I was going to fly there instead. My commute on the subway was going to start from Broadview to Bloor-Yonge Station, where I was going to transfer to Line 1 Yonge-University. This video will contain some commentary, along with moments of silence, allowing you to hear the environment.
Line 2, Bloor-Danforth.
The next station is Castle Frank Station. arriving at Yonge Station.
And from Bloor-Yonge, my subway commute was going to end at Union Station.
Line 1, Fort Vaughan.
Please stand clear of the doors. Next station is Wellesley Station. Arriving at Wellesley Station. Doors will open on the right. Arriving at Union Station. Doors will open on the left. Line 1, Fort Vaughan.
At this point, there were two ways to get to Billy Bishop Airport, either by taking the 509 streetcar or taking a complimentary shuttle bus just outside of Union Station. As much as I wanted to ride the streetcar, I decided to take the shuttle bus instead. The reason for this was because at the time of making this video, streetcar service passing by Billy Bishop was suspended due to planned construction. Half of the route was replaced by shuttle buses. So right off the bat, the shuttle bus was the more convenient choice. So this is where the shuttle buses stop and pick up passengers, located on Front Street at York Street. You know, I'm not really much of a fan of bus wraps. Sure, it looks cool and everything from the outside, but the drawbacks of wrapped buses is the interior. You won't be able to see clearly from a window. Inside the bus was a rack for bags, and apparently you could connect to Wi-Fi, though I never attempted to try and see if it worked or not. So after about 8 minutes of waiting, the bus finally moved. So this is Billy Bishop Toronto City Airport, located at the Toronto Islands. The airport, formerly recognized as Port George VI Island Airport and Toronto City Centre Airport, is named in honor of Billy Bishop, the renowned Canadian World War I flying ace and World War II air marshal. It serves as a hub for civil aviation, air ambulances, and regional airlines operating turboprop aircraft. In 2022, it was ranked as Canada's 9th busiest airport. There are 2 ways to gain access to the airport. You can take a short ferry ride or take an elevator and walk through a tunnel. As you can see, I was going to take the tunnel route. At the airport, you can take flights to places in Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia. South of the border, you can take flights to Boston, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Newark with a train link to New York City. The two major airlines that operate in and out of Billy Bishop is Air Canada and Porter Airlines. On the right is Security A for domestic travel, and on the left is Security B for American travel. Because I paid for a basic ticket, I had to go to a ticket agent and show my ID for my boarding pass, which I thought was unnecessary and annoying. Security was good with no issues. My flight ticket from YTZ to YOW cost a total of 201 Canadian dollars and 66 cents, including seat selection. That kind of price is roughly the same as a business class ticket on Via Rail, but of course, that only depends on what time you booked your ticket and the add-ons. The waiting area at the domestic section of Billy Bishop is pretty good to look at. In my Toronto to Washington, D.C. video, I explored the international section of the waiting room. Here, you have access to shops and a couple of restaurants. And over here is an Air Canada lounge. The Porter flight I was going to take was going to make 2 stops. First Ottawa, and then Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. My flight was going to depart at 8:45 a.m. However, that would later change to roughly 9 p.m. Coincidentally, of all the flights displayed on the screen, mine was the only one that was going to depart a little later.
Carte d'accès à bord. S'il n'y a pas de numéro de zone sur votre carte d'accès à bord, nous vous invitons à vous présenter pour l'embarquement une fois que les passagers de toutes les zones ont été appelés. Veuillez préparer votre pièce d'identité avec photo et livrée par le gouvernement. Merci d'avoir choisi Air Canada.
We will now begin the general boarding for Porter Airlines, Flight 2631, with service to Stadler Flirt. Porter Airlines invites those passengers seated in rows 10 through 19 to please exit the lounge using door E and make a left to stay 11. Please have your boarding pass and documentation photo ID ready for presentation.
So after about a 15-minute delay, it was time to board. My boarding pass did not have a boarding zone number, which basically meant everyone with Porter Classic could simply approach the gate, regardless of which row they sat on. The seating configuration for Porter Reserve and Porter Classic is 2x2. And this was my seat, 4D, my usual seat on a de Havilland Dash 8400. Slightly more expensive than a back row seat by just a couple of dollars. Just like my other flights on a Dash 8400, the legroom was not bad. The very good news was I was not going to have a seatmate. Man, don't you just love Porter? With no middle seat, the probability of having a row to yourself is higher. I put my bag underneath the empty seat, giving my legs a little break. The tray was okay for eating and drinking and watching videos on your phone. I don't think I would ever consider using my laptop on it. At the back pocket, I got a Porter magazine, safety instructions, and an air sickness bag.
Cam speaking. Like this morning, due to delayed arrival of Bayview-bound aircraft, we'll do our best to make up a couple of minutes on route. Temperature in Ottawa, we're expecting around -1.
Welcome aboard your Porter flight. In the interest of your safety, please place your hand luggage in the overhead stowage compartment.
The seats were not bad. However, the seats could not recline. Other missing amenities were no power outlets and no in-flight entertainment. But I didn't care that much because it was going to be a short flight.
The boarding door has now been closed. If you plan to use a mobile device during flight, now is the time to ensure that it has been set to airplane mode or the cellular service is turned off. At this time, we ask passengers using their headsets to remove them for the duration of the safety demonstration. Thank you. Pour attacher votre ceinture de sécurité, insérez la boucle dans la pince et serrez-la bien aux hanches. Pour la détacher, soulevez la partie du haut et tirez. This aircraft is equipped with 4 emergency exits. There are 2 at the front and 2 at the rear of the cabin. Please take note of the exits nearest you. Cet avion est doté de 4 sorties de secours. Il y en a 2 à l'avant et 2 à l'arrière de la cabine. Details of the safety equipment and exits on this aircraft. Please review its contents prior to takeoff. Une carte sur les mesures de sécurité se trouve dans la pochette devant vous. Cette carte décrit l'équipement de sécurité et les sorties de cet avion. Veuillez en prendre connaissance avant le décollage. At this time, you should be comfortably seated with your seatbelt fastened, tray table secured, and your hand luggage safely stowed. You may now use your headset and small handheld electronic devices, provided they are secured and in airplane mode. Vous devriez maintenant être confortablement assis.
During in-flight service, I requested for potato chips and apple juice. Nothing too special, nothing too fancy. Good thing the flight attendant asked me if I wanted a drink, unlike my last time flying with Porter. The majority of the flight was nothing but clouds. Literally just 30 minutes later in the air, I could see the suburbs of Ottawa. The train track the plane was flying over belonged to Line 2 Trillium. Across This was a good flight, probably the second best flight on Porter after my Porter flight from Edmonton. The plane arrived at its destination on time. It was quick, but most importantly, the plane landed safely, without turning, upside down.
Another happy landing.
As the plane was preparing for its final destination to Charlottetown, I made my way to the Airport O Train station. The Line 4 train service and Line 2 extension started service on January 6, 2025, after years of delays.
Jusqu'à ce qu'ils soient enregistrés. Les bagages sans surveillance pourraient être déplacés ou enlevés immédiatement pour être examinés et pourraient être endommagés ou détruits.
Finding the station was pretty easy, located at the check-in area of the airport. Over there is the machines to buy tickets, with the adult fare costing just $4 as of January 2025, more expensive than the TTC. However, in my case, I didn't need to buy tickets, as OC Transpo is associated with Presto, just like the TTC. Too bad their transfer system is not good. On the TTC, the transfer time is 2 hours. However, on OC Transpo, it was 90 minutes. In front of my eyes, I missed the train. You can't really see it because the camera didn't pick it up due to the lighting of the station entrance. Because I missed the train, I would have to wait for another train for 12 minutes. On my phone, I started a timer. How long was the trip from the airport to downtown? The station has an indoor waiting area, great for cold weather and active weather. I was going to get off at South Quay Station for Line 2. Arriving at the station was an Alstom Coradia Lint 41, an older train from 2013, and the only rolling stock of Line 4. One thing that needs to be addressed about Line 2 and 4 is their waiting times. Some sections of the lines has just one single track. Because of that, the scheduling and timing had to be perfect. For example, here, at Upland Station there was always 2 trains at the platform. Whoever train arrives first cannot leave until the other train arrives. Because of this, there could be some delays, which was something I was worried about. But during my first ride on the 2 lines, nothing major happened. The train arrived at South Quay Station at the Line 2 Linebank-bound platform. My next move was to take Line 2 north to Bayview, where the line terminates. After doing some thinking, I wished both Line 2 and 4 both shared the same tracks to Bayview, just like Line 1 and Line 3 will share the same tracks once Line 3 opens. The fact that passengers having to transfer twice is quite tedious. Now, I wasn't sure if putting Line 4 trains on Line 2 would overwhelm the system, but at least it would have been more convenient, especially considering the fact Line 4 is short with only 3 stations. But realistically, the Line 2 and Line 4 integration probably wouldn't work due to the single track sections. The rolling stock on Line 2 Trillium is the Alstom Linz with 2 trains coupled together, and the brand new Stadler Flirts from 2021. On these trains, I had to push the button to open the doors, kind of like trains on the Edmonton Transit Service. I also really like that these trains has the same door chime from Line 1 Confederation. Perhaps the Linz could get one too.
Northbound to Bayview, direction nord, Bayview. Next station, Greenboro. Prochaine station, Greenboro.
The train announcement jingle sounded exactly the same as a Berlin U-Bahn train when it formerly had that sound. As the train leaves the station, the first thing I noticed was how quiet the train was when compared to the Linz. Unless you are sitting near the diesel engines units, you're basically not going to hear anything,
Station, Station Greenboro.
I also really appreciated the station name and map on the screen, telling you the time when the station was going to arrive at the destination. The Trillium Line is the first line built in the O Train system, which began service in 2001 as a pilot project with just 5 stations. After the line closed down in May 2020 for upgrades, it opened again on January 6, 2025 with an extension south to Limebank and 2 infill stations. It was great to ride Line 2 again after riding it last time during my trip to Ottawa in 2019.
Northbound to Bayview, direction nord, Bayview. Next station, Carlton. Prochaine station, Carlton. Downs Lake Station, Station Black-bound. Bayview Station, last stop, Station Bayview, dernier arrêt.
Sabi ang mensahe and I scrolled down, te mandan un screenshot. Él mandó
So after the ride, I transferred to Line 1 Confederation, which started service in 2019. This was my second transfer. Again, it would have been convenient if Line 4 shared the same line as Line 2. But like I said before, due to the single track sections, I didn't know if that was even possible. Unlike Line 2 and 4, Line 1 is a light metro line with overhead wires, with their rolling stock being the Alstom Citatus Spirit, the same trains that was going to be used on the delayed TTC Line 6 Finch West, aka Line 6 Faulty Wheels. The station I was going to get off at was Parliament for downtown Ottawa and Parliament Hill.
Eastbound to Blair. Direction Est, Blair. Next station, Himsey. Prochaine station, Himsey. Eastbound to Blair. Direction Est, Blair. Next station, Parliament. Prochaine Parliament Station. Station Parlement.
And here we are, downtown Ottawa. It was a pretty decent ride from the airport, with a couple of hiccups like more than one transfers and a random crazy guy throwing random plants on the floor during my ride on Line 1. The total ride took almost an hour. According to some reports, the O Train rides between the airport and downtown is somewhat of a downgrade when it comes to timing. Apparently, the OC Transpo bus route 97 Airport is 15 minutes faster. As of making this video, it was already announced that the route was going to be cancelled after spring 2025, being replaced by the Line 4 Airport Link. There is a video by the CBC where a reporter took a test on how long the ride took from downtown to the airport when riding on the O Train, the 97 from Herdman Station, and Uber. The end result was a 54-minute commute on the 3 lines. Assuming that the 97 was faster, that meant unfortunately, the O Train rides, at least time-wise, are kind of a downgrade. Not to mention on Route 97, you would only have to make one transfer at Herdman Station. Walking distance from the station is Parliament Hill, where this trip ends. Looking at the Parliament building was an eyesore, with one of the cranes obstructing the Peace Tower due to rehabilitation. From Toronto to Ottawa took less than 5 hours. This was a great trip, with my flight to the Ottawa airport arriving on time and a pretty good ride on the O Train. For the entirety of February, the weather was very cold, with the temperatures being in the deep minuses. Coincidentally, I happened to go to Ottawa on a day when the temperature was warm, with the ice melting. One of my original plans was to skate at the Rideau Canal. Too bad it was closed for skating. It was open the day before I arrived, but it was now too late. Talk about bad timing. But hey, you either get pretty decent warm weather or frigid colder weather. It was a matter of picking your poison.